Hello students, today we'll continue whatever we had started in previous lecture. But in previous video we have discussed about the IC manufacturing process. Then we have discussed about the different types of ICs. Into that we have discussed about the small scale integration, that is SSI technology, medium scale integration, MSI technology. Then we have discussed about the various ICs available, that is 74 series we have discussed, and then we have discussed about the large scale integration. So number of transistors per chip is going on increasing. Now today we will discuss about one example of IC which is designed by using MSI technology, and then we are going to discuss about VLSI technology, then application specific technology, okay, ASIC designs. So today we'll start with one example, that is MSI technology example, that is a counter display example. So what is this example? You can see from the book we have the example, that is example 6.1. It use the following components to design 4-digit decimal counter with a 7-segment LED display, 274 LS390 dual decade counters, 474 LS47 BCD to 7-segment decoder, 4 7-segment displays, plus any additional gate required. Okay, with the help of using these available components, we have to design 4-bit BCD counter display we have to design. Okay, for that we have to use that 74 LS390 dual decade counter. So this dual decade counter, it will have two parts, that is one is a single bit counter and another is a 3-bit counter. Single bit counter, so it will increases and 1010 likewise, so it will have Q0 will be the output, and 3-bit counter, that is divided by 5 3-bit counter, and it will have outputs, that is Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3. So total, so we can combine these counters from Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, it has two inputs, that is CP0 and CP1. CP0 clock pulse 0 and clock pulse 1. So this clock pulse 0 is active low signal. Another input is master reset. It sets the counter to 000 when MR is equal to 1. Okay, it has single bit counter, that is CP0 on following edge, that is active low signal it is, and 3-bit divided by 5 counter, that is by using clock pulse CP1, and on the following edge, that is it is active low signal. Okay, so hence Q0 is output of single bit counter 0 and is given input to 3-bit counter, that is CP1, and input clock is input to CP0. Okay, see here, Q0 is the output of single bit counter and it is given to the 3-bit counter, that is CP1, and input of clock input is CP0. Okay, when count changes or count is equal to 1001, when count is equal to 1001, that is 9. Okay, when count changes from 000 to 1001, that is there are, so we want to display BC numbers, and hence BC numbers varying from 000 to 1001, that is 0 to 9. Okay, and hence when the count will be 1001, then we have to use AND gate, and output Q0 and Q3 we have to make together, and we have to apply to the AND gate, and so this AND gate it is used to generate next clock pulse. Okay, see here into this example, that is this is the symbol of 74LS390, and it will have CP0, CP1 for counter 0, and 3-bit counter, another counter, second counter, and these are the total combined outputs Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3. Okay, so now we want to count BCD numbers, that is 0 to 9, and hence when this is clock input pulse, when these pulses are going on changing, that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, when it is increased to 10, so it will count from 000, 4-bit counter, and up to 1001. So at that time you will get this AND gate output is equal to 1. After 10 pulses this will give 1 pulse, so this counter is going on increasing. So likewise another 10 pulse, another count will be increases likewise. So we can count all the pulses from 0 to 9 for this, then 0 again from 0 to 9 for this, likewise it will go on increasing. So we are going to cascade one output of first counter to the next counter, output of next counter to another next counter, output of next counter to another. So in this way we can connect 4-bit counter. Okay, now this is a symbol of 74LS477 segment decoder, and this 7 segment decoder we have to connect output of this decode counter to 7 segment decoder, and output of this we have to connect to the display. Okay, so this 7 segment decoder, it will have 4 inputs. These are the 4 BCD inputs, then these are the outputs, and another input is LT, that is lamp test. When we make it equal to 0, then all the inputs, all the outputs will be high, so that it will activate, and then it will connect to the 7 segment display, and it will glow it. Okay, when and another inputs RBI1 and RBI0. RBI1, it is a ripple banking input and ripple banking outputs. These ripple banking input and ripple banking outputs are used to make the display of RBI ripple banking input and ripple banking outputs. These two inputs or these two signals are used to control the output make 0, so that we can deactivate 7 segment display, so that we can save the power. Okay, for that purpose the ripple banking input is. So how the ripple banking input is connected? So to activate particular counter and to deactivate particular counter, we'll see here in the next. So see the total circuit diagram for this. So these are the decade counters. There are 4 decade counters. So it will count from 0 to 9, then one pulse will be generated, and this is input to the next. Okay, see here. So this CP0 is clock pulse, and when it will go 1, 0, 1, when it go 1, this will be applied to the input of CP1, and this will be act as an input to the 5-bit divided by 5 counter. So this will be the divided by 5 counter. Okay, this is so Q0, Q1, Q2, Q3. These are the output, and then it is applied to the input of the next. Okay, so this output of decade counter, it is connected to the 7 segment decoder. 7 segment decoder, these are the output of counter, and these are the output of decade counter. It is applied to the 7 segment display. It is common anode 7 segment display. So when these pins are low, this will be indicate, this will glow the display. Now you can see here, we want to count continuously. Okay, 0 1 0 1 0, so that this counter will go on increasing 0 1 2 3 4 up to 9. So it will indicate 0 1 2 3 4. Meanwhile, when this for first 0 to 9%, not necessary to indicate this. Okay, or for 0 to 99, so these two will be displayed. In that case, this should not be displayed, so we can save the power. So for that purpose, so we can make arrangement, or we can make ripple blanking input and ripple blanking output, RBI1 and RBI0, in such a way that, so how it will be generated, or how it will be acted. So what is the significance? That is, ripple banking input and this BCD input is equal to 0. So outputs all are make equal to 0 0 0. So complement you will get 1 1 1, so that so it will not glow the, or the display will be off at that time. Okay, so at that time RBI output is also 0. See here, when BCD inputs are 0 0 0, and when RBI input is equal to 1, at that time it will produce 0 0 0 0, and so that the complement of this will get 1 1 1, and so display will be deactivated. Okay, here high and here also high, it will deactivate, so the display will not activated. So this at that time it will also generate RBI is equal to RBO is equal to 0, and this is applied to the next. So as it is a low, so it will, and when this is equal to 0, it will generate low output, and this is applied to the this is equal to low, and this is equal to, when there is a no BCD input is equal to 0, all the inputs are 0 at that time, so this will be deactivated, and at that time it will generate low output. So this is applied input to this decoder, and then when it is low, and when this is equal to 0 0 0, at that time it will deactivated. If these are any BCD inputs are there, then automatically it will convert BCD input into this particular code to indicate 0 1 2 3 up to 9. Okay, so likewise, this is the circuit diagram for 4-bit BCD counter. Okay, so it uses this counter, and then it uses 7 segment decoder, and then it is 7 segment display. So the arrangement is like this, and total, whenever you want to reset, all the display should be equal to 0. At that time you have to use this master reset. So when this is equal to 1, so all the counter output will be equal to 0 0 0 0. Okay, so it will indicate 0. So this is the example of the 4-bit counter display. Okay, so then we'll discuss about the VLSI and ASIC design. So VLSI, there is again progress into LSI technology. So as progress go on increasing into LSI technology, number of devices per chip will go on increasing. As the number of devices per chip will go on increasing, the number of devices approximately it will go on increasing up to 10,000. So this technology is nothing but the very large scale integration, very large scale integration. Above that, if we go on again increasing the number of transistors, then so it will be the ultra large scale integration technology. Till we are in the VLSI technology, we will go towards next, that is a ultra large scale integration technology. Okay, then in VLSI technology, it is just means of IC designing. Actually, in the availability of the CAD design tools, and so foundry technology is developed, and hence now we are only simply designing by using the VLSI design tools. So IC design tools now it is simple, but we can go for the availability of a large variety of CAD design tools and foundry services. We can design a variety of ICs for various applications, or we can design IC for a particular application. So hence these ICs are called as application specific ICs. These ICs are called as application specific ICs, and they are often designed for a range of a related product in a market segment. All these ICs, they are not designed, so particular ICs are designed for a particular sector of a market. Okay, so ASIC application specific, it is not means that for a particular customer or for a particular project. It is designed to achieve a certain or a particular applications, okay, for a particular segment. So this will be designed. Okay, so for example, application specific standard, or for example here the cell phone ICs, that is your mobile phone, these are, it will based upon the cell phone ICs. Then portable music player ICs, then toys IC required, and automobile field we require ICs. In case of automobile field, we require the ABS system, anti-lock braking system, a piece of military applications, and industrial machine. These are there will require the particular ICs, and that will be designed for a particular range or particular. So we can design IC for the cell phones, and this IC will not used for the military application, or this will not used in case of automobile application. So automobile IC will not used in cell phone technology. Okay, hence they are for a particular zone, or they are for a particular market. Okay, so these ICs are called as application specific standard products, and in short also it is ASICs. This is also ASIC, but it is also called as application specific standard products, that is ASSPS. Okay, application specific standard products. Okay, once again we'll discuss about the application specific. That is application specific ICs have lower unit cost. It has lower unit cost as that of programmable components. The programmable components means field programmable gate arrays or complex programmable gate arrays or CPLDs. Okay, but more design verification efforts we have required. So to achieve efficiency, okay, so we required more design verification efforts we should require. Okay, and we require expertise into that particular area, and we have to design from right from scratch particular design we require. For that purpose we have there they have higher non-recurring engineering cost. NRE cost will be high. Okay, so this NRE cost will be amortized over a production run, means all the products they are sold into the market, that will be contributed NRE cost. So NRE cost will be contributed by the all the products. Okay, and application specific ICs make sense of for a high volume. So you know that. So high NRE cost is there. So to reduce the unit cost, we have to produce this application specific ICs in high volume, so that the NRE cost will be contributed by all the products, and its unit cost will be reduced. Otherwise, the unit cost will be more. Okay, there are two types of application specific ICs. There is one, or there are two technologies. That is, in case of application specific, that is, one is a full custom and another is the standard cell ASIC. Full custom ASIC and standard cell ASIC. In case of full custom ASICs, in full custom ASICs, any product or any requirement, any design that will be designed for right from scratch. So the transistors or the wires or interconnections, they are designed every time. They will be designed with, and they will be designed for minimum feature size, minimum separation, minimum wire length, minimum width. So they will be designed, and hence they will have high NRE cost, because they require highly expertise into the particular field. In each expert design team, they will require the expert from the VLSI design. Okay, but they will give best performance with least area. Okay, as each component will be designed particularly, it will have minimum size, and hence it will require minimum area. So it will have highest operating speed, so performance will be more. Okay, so it requires design expertise design team. Okay, so for example, high volume products like CPUs or ICs for consumer applications, these will be designed by using full custom ASICs. Okay, but here what is the drawback? Drawback is that high NRE cost. Okay, here that problem is solved with the standard cell ASICs. In the standard cell ASICs, so they will use the basic components available in the foundry or the library. Okay, the basic components are already available. These components are the cells like gates and flip-flops. They will be readily designed. They will be available in the library, and then we have to pick and place there will be there. Okay, so previously designed by a particular vendor or particular manufacturer will be, with the manufacturer they will have particular design, they will have to reuse it. Okay, or that design will be available with the ASIC vendor, and then we have to use for further design. Okay, so that already design will be available, then design time will be reduced, design cost will be reduced. So it reduces the NRE cost will be significantly, it reduces the NRE cost, and hence the standard cell ASICs, it will reduce the unit cost also, but density of the devices per chip will be less as compared to the this full custom ASIC. Full custom ASIC, then density will be more, and here in the standard cell ASIC density will be less. Okay, this is about the standard cell ASIC, full custom ASIC, or this is about the overall the application specific integrated circuits. Today we will stop here.